and buys leads. Integrity basically has a deal for agents. When you get the integrity deal, if you build a downline and your whole downline, including you, sells $1 million in premium in one single month, they have what's called a 7 times multiplier, that they will offer you a check to buy your book of business from you, which means that any residuals overrides for you and your entire downline, they will cut you a check between 1 and 7 million, or 1 and 10, but it's usually only like, I think up to 7 from what I've heard. They'll cut you a check for that, then they will pay you an additional contract for 3 years to stay on and manage that team, up to 5, but to 3, and they will pay you an additional whatever. The reason they're doing that is because they're telling you, once you've gotten that check in your hand and you stay on just to manage the team, you are to push all of your people to buy leads from the CRM. The leads from the CRM are coming from Integrity with a different interface, and SSL is also making an override every time they send these agents in to spend $11, $10, $12 on these exclusive leads that are actually being then sold to 11 other agents. It's a whole filtration system where it's just recycling that integrity check that they're really cutting you. Doesn't even matter because they're making all of that money back so quick by reselling the leads, and just, it's like a freaking Ponzi scheme. People didn't even know that Integrity was tied to SSL in that way. And now they finally kind of opened it up. So it's really.
How do you know about this?
I do my little research. So what happened was I was with some of the higher ups, like the big wigs, and they do lots of grand openings. And I was literally leaving one of the rooms, and I was walking down the hall, and I overheard this conversation that was happening that wasn't supposed to be privy to anybody else. And I said, wait, what? And so I just kind of stood there. I turned the recorder on my phone and I sat and I listened to them have this conversation. It didn't dawn on me till later that an accidental email came into my inbox and it had an Integrity Marketing attached to it. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, we've been buying our leads from Integrity Marketing this entire time. Integrity Marketing, any IMO can sell their leads to Integrity and they will buy them from you for pennies on the dollar. They are then taking those leads and pretending like they're real time. It's insane.
That's okay. I see you still haven't registered for the website. I see your email, Forever Legacy 3.
Yes, I was literally in the middle of talking to you and I stopped typing.
But since you're talented, you could do 2 things at one time.
I know.
I wish I knew your name. I'll know your name in a second.
I just hit send on that.
From Oregon.
I am. I'm licensed in 13 or 14 different states.
Are you high up in their system?
I mean, my comp is high and I became a manager, but I didn't take a badge because I did not want to recruit. So I'm considered a manager, but I didn't take the next level up. I was like, I don't want this. There's so much rah-rah. And I kind of saw what was happening behind the scenes with the leads and stuff.
You got
Especially
that.
when I'm calling.
You got that email. So what level commission are you at FFL?
I'm at 125 and I'm supposed to be being bumped up to 130.
You must be good at closing.
And I'm not being cocky. I came from a captive agency where I was actually very high up there. And I left that captive agency to come over here, and I was number 3 my first year in at that captive agency for sales out of people that had been there for 6-7 years. But in all honesty, I attribute a lot of that to the training that my older brother gave me when it comes to this. He's been doing it for 9 years.
When they found out that you knew the secrets about their lead system, were they embarrassed?
I told 2 people and they were just like, well, I don't know. I just keep my head down and sell. I'm less worried. This was my upline who originally said, I'm just more worried about making money. I don't care where they come from. If I'm making this kind of money, and I'm just laughing about it because the deception in it is just mind blowing. I just kind of left it alone from there.
I would imagine since they got that cease and desist from the FTC that their recruiting has really gone down. Is that true?
Honestly, no. What I was told was the cease and desist was because agents were posting on TikTok, Facebook, they're making $50K a month, and they were basically like, you cannot do that unless you can show proof in your bank account that that's what you had, because something was being tied to COVID and the pandemic, and that's what radared it because of what a lot of agencies were doing. But I got phone calls from people from FFL trying to recruit me, and I'm like, I'm already with FFL. And to be honest, I'm actually literally already in the process of trying to shift out, and I want to move my team. And it's mostly just because these individuals, I want for them to succeed. We all want good leads, and that's it. They want to learn from me how to do IULs and annuities, and that's just the direction that I'm in. I don't care about any of the other stuff, really.
Do any of your team members or people you know buy leads from this FFL CRM?
Nope, not anymore. They've been listening to me because myself and another gal, she's high comp as well. We both learned the game and we caught on to it. And we basically were like, here's the horror story. This is how much money I spent and this is how much I made. And when you do the math, it's just not adding up. It's like being tied to the 401k stock market. It's not a good thing. Like, it's a whole game. And so we basically were like, do not buy leads from there. In fact, I actually showed my team a couple different ways to generate leads. I was doing live transfers for a while, and that got too expensive. I noticed that the more I was selling and buying, they started trying to take advantage of that. And I was like, no, I'm good.
You're educating your team how to stay in business for the long haul.
Yeah.
I was told that new agents coming in particular, because I speak to these people, they speak to me, that they're very susceptible to empty out their bank account on these lead purchases. Have you noticed that?
1,000%, because they're not even drinking the Kool-Aid, they're swimming in it. And I just got off the phone with another agent and I said, hey, listen, Alex, if you want to throw away $1,500 every week or every couple of weeks when I know that you don't have it into these leads, then go right ahead. Or you have this option or this option. And so I just had that hard conversation with a brand new agent.
Are they really telling the agents who buy these $11 instant internet leads that they're exclusive?
Yep, 100%. They're basically saying, I mean, we've got videos and all this BS marketing. They're saying that it's in real time. And when the agents clap back and go, well, I just called this client and she said she got 15 phone calls. And they're like, well, we're guaranteeing that it's exclusive from us. But if the client is online and they click on another site, then that generates a lead for that company. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody who's going to spend 30 minutes online filling out multiple applications. So that's where they're getting all these brand new green agents to believe that it's 100% exclusive from them. FFL also did something really sneaky. They have finally opened it up that they are integrated with Integrity, because they shut down our CRM system for, I think it was 2 days or something. And they basically said, take all of your leads out of the CRM. We're doing this new merger. If you don't pull all your leads out of the CRM, you will lose them forever. What they were doing is they were doing a merger with Integrity, and they were basically giving back all of those leads and saying that they were updating the CRM. So they took all of those leads and gave them to Integrity. Integrity is taking those leads, filtering them through, and selling them to other IMOs. And one of the biggest reasons that I know that Integrity is recycling the leads, we did a test on some instance with another team, and we spoke with the clients. We went to the house for the mailers, and they're literally saying, yes, I did fill this out. This was 5 years ago. And I've owned the house for this long. Or even on the instance, and they're like, I've already had 4 other calls from another person from your company. So it's like, I don't know how long people have to keep drinking it before they understand.
There was an interview with Greg Birch. I call it the whistleblower interview. He actually was quoted as saying, thousands of agents buy thousands of dollar leads and make 0 sales. Is anyone suing FFL for this type of lead fraud?
No. And you know why? They have a really good attorney, for one, and the reason is because of their verbiage is protecting them. I have already spoken to an attorney, not about going after FFL, but just in general. With a lot of these lead generation companies, people don't realize when you say this lead is exclusive, or this lead is going to be exclusive for 30 or 90 days, they can easily come back with, by saying the verbiage correctly, which is what they've been taught to do, we're guaranteeing this is exclusive to you, but that doesn't mean that on another lead generation site that it's not being picked up by somebody else. So what happened is in my opinion, and what I've come to learn from other people, we think that not only FFL, but Integrity and other people are creating multiple landing pages to appear to be another company so that they can sell that to an agent over here and still sell it to an agent over here. It actually got called out on Facebook recently. Somebody actually mentioned that this company, I forgot the name of it, I could probably go back and look at it, it's actually this company. And the three of them are working together, but they're pretending to be three different lead companies and they're sharing. And one of them was All Web Leads that was listed in this.
At Tyra, you almost sound like an expert witness testifying at a trial. You really know your stuff.
You don't even know. After the hell that I dealt with the other agency that I was captive at, because there's a huge battle between that agency and FFL. Like, it's still ongoing. It's a big deal right now. Lawyers, it's pretty bad.
Is that Advantage One?
Nope. They're another one having their own thing, but it's actually American Income Life.
And they're grabbing each other's agents as well?
So no, what happened was I was a captive agent at American Income Life, and the CEOs both know each other. There was a rumor that the CEO of FFL at one point worked with AIL. I don't know. I wasn't there at the time. But when he left, started his own IMO, which has been about 8 years now, or 9 years, 8 or 9 years, a bunch of agents left AIL being captive and jumped ship and went to FFL. When I came over to FFL, my upline single-handedly took 400 agents in the matter of 4 months from AIL. I came over. They lost from what I was told from people that are high up at AIL, they lost about 700 to 1,000 agents in less than 6 months. And so what AIL did is they slapped fictitious vectors on all of us. And I had to contact the commission board and file a complaint. And the lady there said, this is the first time in 20 years I have ever seen this many complaints come in from an insurance company. And basically,
fictitious vectors? That's highly illegal.
Well, AIL was sued for $20 million from a group of agents in California. And it's looking like I'm going to have to reach out to those attorneys myself, because what they did is when you sign your contract with AIL, you're set at your commission. Within that verbiage, what they basically are trying to do is anybody that leaves their company, they're saying that all of the people that you sold policies to, they want the money back. And we're like, what? But I'm like, that's almost illegal, because you're double dipping. Not only did that client, I can see if it's a chargeback. Anybody should have to pay a chargeback. But if I leave a company and I have 0 chargebacks, everything's clear, my books are good, my retention's high, whatever, and I leave, and now you're telling me that because you advanced me, most insurance companies, you're on a 9-month advance, you advanced me, and these 20 people are not within that 9-month period, you want all of the money back, and you're hitting me with a debt, but you're still making money from those clients because they still have policies with you. And so that's what they did. And they were doing that to try to prevent agents from being able to, from leaving, to write with the contract with the carriers. So what Sean Meek, the owner of FFL, had to do, he had to go in, and a lot of IMOs are doing this. They had to sign what's called a guarantee.
Right.
Basically saying, we'll vouch for this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Okay, so that solved that problem. Greg Birch, whistleblower, he was a senior vice president. He claims he was, 389 or 90,000 a month his last month there. He was talking very, very strongly about churning. They were instructing their people to replace policies, especially if you're selling a very high price policy like Americo.
Wait, who was AIL?
No, FFL.
Oh, so they were telling FFL people to replace policies.
Replace policies, and they actually mentioned something. I'm not sure you're aware of this. I was told by someone it stopped last spring, something called bounty leads or integrity leads. Have you ever heard that term called bounty lead?
No, but integrity makes me think of integrity marketing, so I don't know.
Right. What it is, once the agent leaves the system, they've got all that data, which includes their existing sales. So they would sell the lead as they call it a bounty lead to someone else. So it's especially if a person bought an overpriced policy, they're very easy to replace.
So who's selling these then?
Trusted agents. Once you listen to the Greg Birch whistleblower interview, you'll see exactly what he's talking about.
And so SSL, you think that like I'll just for the sake of safety or whatever, you think that MLM companies are doing that?
Well, when it's in a CRM, it's really easy to do. It's all laid out there. And there's so many
Yep.
people coming in and out of the business. What do you do with all that book of business that the person sold? In addition, if specifically if the newer agents that don't know any better, if they're selling
Yep.
really high priced policies that the recruiter or mentor is recommending that they sell, they're telling people to sell Americo, and Americo has the highest commission level for the IMO, and it's also severely overpriced compared to more competitive
Yes.
company.
Yep. It
So
really is. And you know what's really funny about you saying this? I'm sick to my stomach right now. When I was at the captive agency, I had one of the highest retention rates, and all of a sudden veterans who had been there longer than me, were managers as I wasn't at the time. They were going in on my policies and either upselling my clients or doing what's called a term conversion. And I was so brand new. My first few months in, I did not understand how that was possible until you just said what you said, and it's irritating.
Well, they get the new agents to sell these overpriced policies, so they're exceptionally easy to replace when that new agent leaves the business.
Wow, that makes sense.
A gentleman in California, he mentioned the last time he heard them mentioning that was at the same time that Greg Birch left the company, which was last year.
What company? You know what company Greg Birch used to work for?
He worked for FFL, then he moved over to Advantage One. He was a senior vice president at FFL.
Okay.
He was a top producer.
That
And
makes sense now.
you did sign up for the website, which I'm glad. Let me just mention as well, my company, or I personally interviewed Greg Birch. I posted it online just to let you know.
Wow.
And because of that, FFL, you mentioned they have really good attorneys. They actually sued me personally with a defamation lawsuit, which will be in West Palm Beach County. I got served recently. I'm trying to learn as much about this company as humanly possible.
Yep.
When I responded to the judge in the response, I used the word Wolf of Wall Street on steroids. After listening to the Greg Birch whistleblower, after seeing what he said, I guess you know exactly what I'm talking about because you saw that whole lead system about telling people, hey, these are instant leads and exclusive, and they go to.
I'm stuck in it now. In fact, my manager, I feel like I'm trapped with them right now, if I'm being completely honest. And my manager flew into Oregon to work, my upline, if you will, to work with me and show me how being independent is so much better than captive. And when he bought these aged mailers on their CRM, it was saying these mailers are 1 to 2 years old. We were showing up to people's houses. One person pulled up paperwork and they were like, I filled that out 5 or 7 or 10 years ago. That's how old it was. And we were basically being sold something as if it was like a 1 to 2 year old aged mailer. So that right there is dishonesty when you have multiple people saying, I can show you when I bought this house, because it was geared towards new home buyers.
At a certain point, you realize that there's a list from the county courthouse of all the new mortgage buyers that comes out on a weekly basis. That's available at the county courthouse or from any lead company or list company.
Yep.
So if you're into this market, that's probably the best place to get it.
Yep, I actually already knew this.
You knew that, but the new agents don't know anything, so they're very susceptible to get into these type of systems where.
Yep.
What you've been discussing at length is lead fraud and ripping off new agents. My logic or just my thought process is if you sell those same leads to multiple people and you're specifically telling new agents to sell an overpriced policy, you're almost inviting churning.
Yep. Now I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And
Um,
to get very serious, why most companies don't do this, or most human beings that have a decent house and car and wife and kids and mortgage or money in the bank, if if a person at 65 or older gets churned, that would be elder abuse.
mhm,
If you do a Google
mhm.
research, I did a Google of the state of California, Google California elder abuse, it's 4 years in jail.
Wow.
When I found out about this, and I from Greg Birch, I did some complaints to the various departments of insurances. I did a
Mhm,
lot of them. They were all happy. They said, "Thank you for telling us about this. Keep giving them the heads up." One or two contacted me, say, "Hey, we can't do anything unless we have specific information about a specific human being, client, who could do
mhm,
who this happened to." But I guess if this is being done on a factory type level, there has
mhm.
to be multiple people who bought an overpriced policy a year later, bought a lower price policy from the same that was associated with the same IMO or even integrity marketing group.
Yeah.
There,
Well, and to be honest, when I came in, I started drinking the Kool-Aid. I was like, "Oh, Americo, you get the highest comp." I have not sold an Americo policy in a year. I don't believe in their product. I think it's very overpriced. And everything you're saying makes sense. I've run into being on the phone with a client, another FFL agent is literally calling them on the other line for the same
I,
lead. So, yeah.
I spoke to an owner of over an IMO. He said he sells his IMO, very successful guy, very sharp guy. He says his company sells Americo, but only to about 3% of the clients, specifically to the people that have DUI. So
Oh,
if they're like uninsurable, they like, hey, Americo. But apparently if like
I didn't even know they could do that with DUIs for
well,
America. Yeah, I don't.
this guy knew what he was talking about. He seems to know what he was talking about. Apparently, if you have the Americo client that the guy bought Americo last year,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a pretty darn easy policy to replace.
It is. And if I'm being honest, the only thing that I do and continue to do with my clients, because at the end of the day, it's more important to make sure they feel taken care of, because that builds my integrity with them, is I will move a client from a policy if I feel like they're in a better fit. And to be honest, my main focus right now is IUL.
Right.
And
Are you in? But before you learned the job, which generally takes a year or two, did you have a decent list of Americo clients?
no,
You never sold it
no.
at all, practically?
No, I did sell Americo, but I came from American Income Life, where we were the whole unionized company. I was captive. So when I left American Income Life to come to independent and I jumped on with Americo, I have probably, I'd say, 15 clients that I sold to with them, maybe 20. Yeah.
Right. Well, you're still with them, so you're pretty persuasive. So they probably have a higher stay ratio than other people.
Well, I don't even sell with Americo anymore. I actually got screwed over by an agent, and that was the moment I decided I'm not recruiting anymore. Because FSL, it's for me, it's not worth it. They, like you were talking about, the overrides and it trickling up for chargebacks. She wasn't licensed, and her family were clients of mine from my other agency, and they moved their policy over with me. They wanted to follow me, and once she got licensed, she canceled her parents' policies and wrote them up under herself, which generated a very large chargeback to me. And I was like, "You're on your own." I've never in my life had an agent do that, and people I've noticed get really desperate for money. It's just not
Right. New
cool.
agents generally don't have money. It's very dangerous to be dealing with
Yeah.
people that have absolutely no money in their bank. I have this court case, really serious. I spoke to the plaintiff attorney. They're really sicking their dogs at my company. You may notice that we're at the top of the search engine for a lot of terms regarding websites and leads. So we got a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people. I'm the one who does the 6 day per week video conference call,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like people to stay in this business. So when I heard
Mm-hmm.
when I heard Greg Birch,
Mm-hmm.
it really affected me. I guess you know the same thing. It's not a secret. So you got that.
Yeah.
You got that email from them spilling all the beans. Plus, you overheard the
I
You recorded the
so
conversation that you weren't supposed to, that no one was supposed to know about.
yeah. I just will because I feel like I don't trust after everything that happened at the other IMO and all the lies and what they did to me. My exit letter was like, they honestly, I should be suing them, and I didn't. I walked away, and to this day, I'm like, why haven't I gone back to them? And then now being here, I just didn't trust a lot of what I was hearing, and I'm honestly
Was
stuck between a rock and a hard
was,
place with FFL. Because I want to leave.
was Sean Mikey at that meeting that you recorded
Yeah, he was doing a presentation.
to only the people at the top level people who had this inside information?
No, Sean was doing a speech for the grand opening, like a motivational speech. And then I had pulled him aside and chatted with him for a minute. And then he was talking to other high level people about integrity and just what they're doing and all of that. So I slowly but surely started gathering information from different people. I mean, this organization is so big. Other agents that I work with, they say the same thing. Like they're not even on my downline. There's nothing for me to gain from them, and they've told me things that they've heard, and I'm like, what? So
When new agents come in and they're immediately being sold these fraud leads and being lied to, how does that keep people in the system 3, 4, 6 months later?
because what they're saying is it's a numbers game, and that they are basically showing you. I could even probably do snippets and send it to you with the back end, because you have to have an account, like the back end training stuff that they have. They're showing their top people getting on there and having what's called a dial day, and they're showing them getting on the phone. What people don't realize, and what I think is actually happening, is they're giving those people actual, real, exclusive leads, so that when they do those training videos and they show people, they're like, look at how quickly and how often they're getting people to pick up the phone. That's the best way to kind of show people, look at how easy this is, and look at how many appointments this person. So you get to watch a person live on there just calling through, and they're saying if you buy 100 leads, you're going to guaranteed, or they say you're going to sell at least 10 of them, or you're going to close 10. So they give you all these numbers of expectations, and the biggest number one thing is if you don't have a $500 to $1,000, put it on a credit card, put the money back in, reinvest in leads, keep buying it, and they just start telling stories of success, if you will, air quote, success stories of people, and that's how they loop them in.
Are they still doing that even after the FTC cease and desist?
I haven't logged into the CRM because
There's
I
a
stopped the
there's a gentleman I spoke to yesterday who told me on my video conference call, new agent, brand new agent. His name is William Simpson from North Carolina. He physically said, "Hey, I put $200 into the CRM, bogus leads, nothing happened." I asked him, "What convinced you to spend $200?" And he said, "I expected to become rich." And I said, "Hey, I thought they got the cease and desist from the FTC where they can't give hard numbers. You're going to be rich." He said that information is in the password protected back office, where it gives the impression that you'll end up making a lot of money.
It does give the impression, and I think what they're doing is they're, and people slip up all the time, but they're preventing from saying words. But it's on the back end, password protected, like he's talking about.
So the FTC does not have access to that, I assume.
No, it's for agents, so they literally can pull a video down and put a video back up. They can just keep doing that anytime they want. They do update some of their training and all of that. I actually thought the FTC was saying that people couldn't go on the cease and desist was for like Instagram and just any social media where they're saying.
If you read it, if you Google the word FTC FFL cease and desist, business opportunity participants, you can't give people the impression they're going to make a lot more money than what's realistic. That's the overriding.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're saying. So the way around that is anybody like a high level manager that's actually producing that, as long as they can show that, which I think is messed up, because of course a high level manager can show that, because I can say, look at how much money I made, but people don't realize that's not just my money, that's also my downline and the override they made off of it. So I still feel like it's really fair, but they're allowing it. The other thing that managers can do, and I'm wondering when integrity is going to catch on to this trick that FSL is doing, and it's so messed up, is with that integrity deal, once this person, John over here, gets his integrity deal, his entire downline, he can take pieces of his downline and move it under another agent to make it look like they have a large team. So then that agent can technically go, my agency is doing $150K a month. Not only is that putting them in line for an integrity deal, but it's allowing them to post numbers that are true. And all they did was move the whole branch of the agency under another number. They do it all the time.
You really know this stuff. I don't know this much about the company, but for whatever reason, I've got a law firm that says they're going to spend $1 million to destroy me and NAIP, which is what you just signed for. If you look at the website that you signed up for, which you signed up, it doesn't look like you looked at the website, which is nape.org.
I had.
If you click it, you'll see the quality programming, and that may explain why they're so gung-ho on destroying the system, which is pretty weird because it's an organic lead system for the basic premise that anyone who's in financial sales or any type of sales should be doing everything they can to come across as a professional person, and having a website that's high quality can only help.
And I didn't move any forward from this because I actually spent a good half hour on your website yesterday. And I was like, this is literally too good to be true, that if this is really this price and that is that price. And that's why I wanted to speak with somebody, because between the two, I know what I have done, other managers have wanted to take and duplicate and say, how did you do that? Because I hired appointment setters to get on and book. I created my own scripts that were more authentic and real and not lying to people like the script that they have, and different things like that. And then other managers were coming to me and saying, how did you do that? What are you saying? And whatever. So for me, my biggest thing, because I'm at the point where I'm like, do I need to become my own lead vendor, or am I going to?
I hate to break it to you, Tyra. Maybe you didn't realize this, but lesson number one when you get into this business, it's better late than never that you realize it. Your job is to get in front of people. Your job is to close deals. If you outsource one of those two jobs to a third party, it's probably not going to work out. You literally have to become your own lead company.
I know what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. The only difference is when you have on your website that you do live transfers, and if that is the case, that's great. That's what I'm referring to.
The rules of moving up the search engine on Google is based on, for the most part, Google wants people to use their service and to come back. The way Google gets that to occur is they give people what they want, which is good results. For the most part, people are looking for the real companies to be at the top. So my job as a website person is to somehow, some way convince Google that I'm the real company for anyone searching for leads, which is what you did. You came to us for leads.
Yeah.
You noticed that particular page had completely original content, which is something Google demands because real companies have original content, and it also has very good time on site, interesting content. If you look at that page from top to bottom, it's almost a Wikipedia or an encyclopedia on lead generation. An incredibly competitive keyword like lead generation or final expense leads, live transfer, it's at the top. How the heck did it get there? That should be curious to you as a marketer. You would say, hey, how did this guy get to the top of the search engine? It's not enough to have a very interesting page. To be on a super competitive keyword like lead generation, you have to be really good. So I threw in the word $10 live transfer lead to make it more interesting. If you want to be in business for an extended period of time, it's a good idea to do the tasks that your job entails, which is getting in front of people and closing deals. Getting in front of people means lead generation. If you look at that page, you scroll down paragraph by paragraph, there's a paragraph that talks about other services. It mentions the word Filipino call center. If you read that paragraph, which is nice, then right below that first one is home-based telemarketer marketplace, 59,000 phone pros, freelancers, software included. That takes you to outbounders.com. You hire a Filipino. I could hire a Filipino. You could hire me to hire the Filipino. I'll charge you
Mhm.
whatever. There's a decent chance I'm going to sell that to 10 or 20 people. Or if you hire the Filipino, you'll be in contact with your employee. I suppose
Mhm.
they're less likely to sell that same lead to 20 people because you'll be in first name basis with your employee. For
Mhm.
the agents that are interested in sticking around this business and not getting ripped off, it's probably a good
Mhm.
idea if you like live transfer leads to go
Mhm.
that route. I suppose if your Filipino is making $10, let's say $5 an hour, he generates a lead every 2 hours. That's where you get your $10 live transfer lead.
Got it. Yeah. And what you're talking about, I've gone that route where I've hired somebody with an accent, and it's nothing against them at all. I found that because of the amount of spam calls that are coming through, it's better to get somebody that's a
Right.
little bit more.
Whatever you do is good,
Yeah.
but realize that for you to be in business and not get ripped off, it's a good idea to be in control of your business. If you're making enough money, hire someone
Mhm.
locally.
Yep.
And that's what it comes down
100.
to. But that's how I got to the top of the search engine. That's why you're calling. That's
Yeah.
why you signed up for the website. You still haven't clicked to see the quality of this website, which probably explains why I have a legal team saying they're going to spend $1 million. So if you click that right now, so at least I could impress you.
I see Tyra Hamilton, licensed insurance agent.
Right.
Okay.
I see you have one hit. So you just clicked it. And what you'll do
Yep.
based on what I told you about search engine optimization, it's probably a good idea to edit this to what you do for a living. Manipulate the quote
Yep.
engines. If you're big into life insurance, you put it towards the top. If you're not into Medicare, get rid of that. Final expenses there. Really customize this to what you do for a living.
Okay. So my question for you is, seeing all of this, this is actually, I wanted to take a minute and give you a huge compliment because this is a huge game changer. I've actually never seen any company offer what you just did right here. And I'm wondering why this seems too good to be true.
It allows me to go to court and have multi-billion-dollar corporations sue me with the hope of putting me out of business. That's what this
Yeah.
website has done.
Honestly, but this is amazing. My question for you is, when you're saying to go in and customize it, when it says things like find the best plans and rates, going back to what
E-
you and I discussed with CRM, how does that work and
e-
link up with what I
Every
have? Yeah.
every word on this page could be edited, change it to what you do for a living. If you have copied content, Google assumes that you're a junk company and they're not going to put you towards the top of the search engine.
So all of this can the photos be changed? Like, do I
That
send
is
it to you?
correct. That is correct. In fact, the top of the website on the generic template that you signed up for, you see 4 images running across. You could change that to video. You could upload your own video. And what we're really trying to get agents to do, especially people who know the business and realize that bigger policies are the way to make money, is you could take this to business owners and say, hey, I'm an expert on websites and digital marketing. You could set up websites for business owners, especially if you put video at the top. Video at the top is the key. You could flip your iPhone. I'm sure you have an iPhone. Am I correct in
I
that?
do. Yes.
Lucky guess. You flip it to the side, you take a 15-second video, you put it at the top. That's the best thing you could do. If you ever run into a plumber, you could
Hmm.
tell the guy to stand in front of his van, take a 15-second video, same thing, carrying his toolbox, and this guy will love you to no end, and he'll be completely loyal to you forever.
You're saying that I'm basically building a website for them.
You could build a web. These websites could be built in 10 minutes. That's all it takes.
Okay.
You just have to,
Because I do
you click
videos that I created myself. Go ahead.
You click, you'll realize how easy it is. And I'm the one who does the 6 day per week video conference call. Okay, Tyra, we've been speaking for a long time. I have to tell you, once I saw that you were so articulate and you mentioned that you've got that secret stuff on integrity, and I'm not joking, they are suing me, and I'm have these lawyers sicked on me. I should mention that I'm doing multiple interviews every day with people from not only FFL but the other people who are experienced in the business to getting their take on the insurance business.
Hmm.
And a lot of people say, "Hey, I'm all gung ho." I spoke to a gentleman today who One gentleman I posted, he spent $9,000 on leads. His name is Robert Taylor. No sales. I posted that today. There was another woman, Arlene Mogg, I believe her name is, from Texas. I posted her. She was in the system for a couple of years. They're taking this
Oh
super
no.
seriously. Super, super seriously. In fact, I posted the letter she sent me. You could watch her. Her name is Aileen. I believe it's Mogg. You could see her video that was posted. I know it may be discerning, but you have to realize I've got, you know, the high-powered lawyers doing what they're trying to do. I've been recording this video or this conversation, and I'm not gonna post it so quick because I would definitely prefer to get stuff on video as opposed to audio. The laws in your state is it's legal as long as it's one person agrees. But I'm definitely gonna
But
keep it. But I'm posting a video a day. I don't need it.
but my whole thing is like in the state of Oregon, you have to tell somebody prior that you're recording, and that person has to agree with that. Like even with
Okay, yeah, I'll double check on the law, but I'm not gonna post it so quick anyways. Even if I'm correcting
well
you or
the
not, we have to go by the law.
yeah, and the reason I'm saying that is because I'm still currently
I know.
working with
But
particular, and
we're
that
we're cool. Let me just see what it says. California, Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, Maryland. Is Oregon on this? All why are you and why all parties involved need to consent before one of them can record a conversation. In California, you can record a
Oregon is
conversation, or I'll double check. If you say it is, I'll quadruple check. But I'm just gonna mention that this is major stuff going on. They may have picked a fight they that's not good for them, but the attorney always has an incentive to go forward with any lawsuit because they get paid, and the owner of the company may not be a rocket scientist that he agreed to that he wanted to go forward because there's no because according to Greg Birch, who actually did a full-fledged YouTube interview, he said that thousands of people lost thousands of dollars, made no sales. So there's no shortage of
yeah.
people who got ripped off on that system.
Well, I know that if it were a more controlled scenario, I'd be more apt to having conversations about things, but posting my conversation to this
Yeah,
extent when
I'm
a
not, I'm
single
not, I'm
mom
not,
with two kids.
I'm not gonna post it so quick, but I just want to let you know because you seem like a really good person, and I can't force you to come to trial, especially that you're to send someone a subpoena to show up at court. It has to be within a 100-mile radius. So
Mm-hmm.
no one's gonna force you to come. But it would be really nice if you would fly across the continental United States to Miami. That's a pretty long.
Well,
So that's probably gonna be a
um,
year later. It's not happening so quick.
completely unbeknownst to me that I was even being recorded,
It's
but
okay
I also,
as long as you're not breaking the law, you're good. The laws of the United States on defamation, just to let you know, is the, one has to be saying stuff in a malicious manner, which is hateful, and you have to be lying and know you're lying. So
no, and that I'm not even worried about that. I work with too many other people that can see what's happening with all of the leads and everything. My whole thing is because I work with a team, I'm still tethered to this company. Posting something and saying this is what this person said and here's the audio. That's the problem that I have right
right,
now.
but they're making money on you. They're happy to make money. You don't have to worry about
But
that.
I need from them, and I haven't for a long time. So
You're good.
the
I'm just giving you the heads up. I'll definitely check on the Department of Insurance, but the fact is, you're more than welcome to speak to the upline and the CEO and all those people at your company, and tell them to drop the lawsuit. That would be the best solution.
My question is, are you creating the leads option for people to come in to see how many people are with this IMO to get this kind of information, or are you actually creating something for people to generate leads? Because
Oh,
now that's what I.
the website build. If you're talking about the website builder, that's a completely separate issue. You've set up the website. Hopefully you'll use it. We say the website is free and always will be, which is a nice way to get people in the system. But if you scroll down, you'll notice that we do charge we put advertisements on the websites to get rid of these ads. It's only $12 a month.
Yeah, and I understand getting rid of the ads and all of that, but my question is this site to help people build leads or purchase leads from you?
We don't even sell
Or
leads. You probably heard me speaking. We don't sell leads. Anyone who buys leads is a rookie of the business. The smart people want to control their livelihood, which is what I mentioned to you. If you're into live transfer leads, generate them yourself. Hire a Filipino. That would be the smart thing to do.
mm-hmm.
If you're into mailers, don't go to some XYZ company that has a huge database of 10,000 agents and buy it from their CRM. Go to the mail company and send them yourself, or go to the post office. Those are the people who stick around for an extended period of time. I am giving, I believe, spot on advice to people, and that could be the reason I'm being served with legal papers.
Well, I just that like for me going into this and more information on the company, I understand your predicament, but I was under the impression that I was trying to figure out what the services
The
are, even if there is.
services we're providing is a game-changing, high-quality website you're more than welcome to use. It has nothing to
Mm-hmm,
do with anything. We have over
mm-hmm,
15,000 people in our system. We're severely
okay.
underpricing this. If you use it, you'll end up making more money. That's pretty much it. It's completely the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, so this is basically specifically for a website, and then there's just additional fees that you would pay if you want to remove the ads
That's all it is.
or
That's all it is. That's all it is. And
but
ideally, our system now is if you want, we want you to speak to your upline, your IMO, which is probably not going to happen in our situation, and they would pay the $12 a month for you. So we're building a network of salespeople to speak to their
mm-hmm.
IMOs and their insurance companies and their uplines. They see the quality, they see everything that we're offering. They say, hey, that's a great deal. Let me get my 100 agents join this NAIP website. I gave you the heads
Okay.
up about our legal battle with FFL and Integrity. Maybe you could pull it off because you're pretty persuasive.
Honestly, I don't speak to anybody within FFL. Like I said,
I'm,
at this point,
I'm joking around with you.
no, I know. I'm just upset by some things that have transpired
Right, I
with
get you. I did mention I recorded the call, and then I'll quadruple check what the laws are in Oregon. But I'm not gonna put. I do an interview a day on YouTube, where you see the face. It's a lot more interesting. This interview is just too long for it to be
yeah.
interesting.
It's not. I'm just saying, like for me right now, I'm trying to move into another IMO
I
based on things that are. I
my
just don't need that
my advice to
thing.
you, Tyra, is literally be good at your profession, which is to really understand what your profession entails, which is getting in front of people, closing deals. Listen to the Greg Birch interview, and you'll understand he left FFL to the next company he was going to because he realized about the leads and he could generate his own leads. So as soon as he did that, he becomes a much more valuable entity. Those are the people who stick around this business. Anyone who calls me for leads is already not at the highest level because that reason which I mentioned. Tyra, I have to get going. It is a pleasure speaking, and if you could speak to your upline IMO, even those FFL people, and see what they say.
Sounds good.
Because I'm not, this speaking it's TMI, too much information.
Yeah.
But of
Okay.
course, keep those recordings that you have.